maybe it's chronic pain, maybe often it's connected to stress, it's connected to trauma, it's connected to burnout, it's connected to things left unsaid, it's connected to unprocessed emotions. When medical conditions are ruled out, our job, our responsibility to take care of ourselves is to look deeper. When we suppress, when we repress, that's when at some point the body says, I can't hold it in anymore. And it starts to manifest physical conditions, pain, aches, mysterious conditions out of nowhere that nobody can explain. And no matter how hard you try, no matter like any remedy, everything you try, nothing seems to work because the cause is not medical, it's not physical, but it's emotions that have been suppressed and repressed. And that certainly was the case for me every single time that I was experiencing something and went through all the medical routine checks, everything cleared, everything clean. And at that point, what helped me break through and out of the pain and come back to a healthy, vibrant body was always looking at the emotional level because emotion, it's literally energy in motion. Emotion is meant to move. So anytime we try to repress, to suppress, to keep it inside, we block it from moving and from feeling. We go against the natural process that it's intended and what our bodies naturally know how to do. I'll give you my own example. I'll give you my first, not even my first, like my example throughout my teenage years and everything else. It's material for other videos because one in particular, and I mentioned this in earlier videos, my New York story and what happened after that is just deserves its own video. But I need to I need to find the it hasn't clicked in yet for me to talk about it, but I will because I think it's going to illuminate so much for other people that perhaps have experienced that. Um, anyhow, for today's videos, this is the example I want to talk about. And throughout my teenage years, I experienced chronic stomach pain. Anytime I ate, I would have stomach pain. No matter how many diets I tried, eating differently, eating more, eating less, eating nothing, I would experience pain. We had all possible medical consultations. We looked at the problem from every possible medical angle, and every doctor said she's fine. And I remember when they were asking, okay, but where is the pain? Can you describe the pain? I couldn't, it felt so difficult to detail. It felt so broad that I was very vague in the way I was describing and answering questions. And I remember feeling dismissed because they will kind of say, well, it doesn't seem that bad. It doesn't sound as bad. You're probably fine. You probably just ate something and you didn't digest it well. Maybe it's an allergy to something. I've always felt dismissed. And at some point, you start to wonder, am I making this a bigger deal, a bigger problem that it actually is? And that can only contribute to increasing the disconnection from the body. And it's so important to feel seen in the way you are experiencing your own body and not feel dismissed. Because when we feel dismissed, most of us will tend to shrink, and just, you kind of get used to it. Even if it's still painful, it's just your life rearranges around it. And I remember some side effects would be bloating. I had a constantly bloated stomach. And for a teenage girl, that's so annoying. And that also contributed to having a like kind of a love-hate relationship with food and with my body, and just made the experience like contributing teenage years are already hard hormonal wise because of hormones. Imagine having like a pain you can't shake off, you can't fix in any way. It doesn't make the experience of eating food as enjoyable, as pleasurable. It's just I felt disconnected from food, from eating. I was trying every diet. I was so frustrated. And on top of that, I was also experiencing, and it felt like to me, I had a hunch it was all kind of connected. But like doctors will say, well, this is another problem, this is another thing. But for me, it was this feels like it's the same thing. I was having incredibly painful periods, cramps, headaches, like every other month, whenever I had my period my parents or my ex-boyfriend, whoever was with me at the time, often had to rush me through to the emergency room for how bad the pain was. Even with medicine, I just couldn't bear it. And that was when doctors prescribed the pill. And somehow it got better, but I will still take medicine every single time just to prevent feeling pain for how scared I was, how terrified I was to be in that kind of pain. So finally, around, I think I was 2021, my mom introduced me to her yoga teacher. She had started taking yoga classes, and this teacher, she was a woman, like, she looked like a sage. She had lived in India many years. She had received training in Ayurvedic lineages, massages. She was trained in breath work as well and holistic counseling. So I started taking yoga classes with her, but I also started working one-on-one with her. We were doing one-on-one breath work consultations. We were doing a little bit of talking, and then I will lie down and she would just help me breathe into my stomach. Also through some somatic exercises and just reconnecting to my own body, I started noticing changes. And it wasn't that many sessions. I don't think I did more than 8 sessions with her. The pain was gone. The pain was completely gone. Stomach pain, gone. Bloating, gone. It took a few weeks for the bloating to go, but it's just acid reflux, gone. And in a matter of a month or so, just the next period I had after working with her, I remember completely pain free. No meds, no nothing, pain free. And I decided she actually invited me to go off the pill. And I was scared at first because the pill did make periods a little bit better pain wise. It was alleviating the pain a little bit. But she was like, you don't need it. Trust your body. You don't need it. And I went off the pill and I have been experiencing pain-free periods since then. I'm 40 years old now. We're talking about 20 years. My life after those few sessions, I just needed to be seen. I just needed to breathe. I just needed to reconnect to my body. There were emotions I needed to feel. There were things I needed to say out loud, and I needed to be witnessed in saying those things. After that experience, I felt like I'd been reborn, you guys. It felt like I'd been reborn because before that, I don't remember having a pain-free stomach. I experienced so much lightness. I remember when we were doing breath work, she will also uh, kind of long holds pressing in some areas of my stomach, and it was so painful. Like literally, it felt like there were solidified blocks of emotions. That's how I can explain it. So painful, like there were stones inside my stomach. And the last sessions we had, she could just go all the way with her hands, and it was soft. and I had no pain. And that experience of lightness inside my body, especially the stomach area, the womb area, the lower belly, felt so I I had forgotten what that felt like because I had so many years of pain. Often what we need, and I'm saying when you've ruled out every possible medical reason or cause, look at the emotional level. Maybe there's something you need to say. Maybe there's something you need to be seen and witnessed in. Maybe there's something for you to process. Maybe there's something for you to feel. But the body doesn't lie. The body, often when there is a physical symptom, manifestation of pain, of chronic pain, of a physical condition, it's the body asking for attention. And when the body is asking for attention, it's like, hey, I can't anymore. Please, I'm trying to talk to you. And it usually does it in a way you cannot ignore it. I hope this can be a reminder for you too, because that's what changed for me, and it transformed my experience and how I'm experiencing something I'm going through right now where my body, there's a physical condition that has no medical explanation. I'm still running a few tests this month. It's a swelling in my right arm that no doctor so far could explain. It's been a while. And if also these last few exams come back clean, and yet another doctor tells me, hey, I don't know how to explain it. And I'm going to assume because my hunch is already that my body's trying to tell me something. And what's changed for me is that I stopped uh, I stopped getting obsessed with fixing the problem, like something's wrong, and getting frustrated at my body. And right now, what's changed is that I'm like, okay, I'm here to listen. And I've been already in listening, just connecting with this part of my body and trying to understand what needs my attention. Because usually it's something we overlook. So my hunch is that it is something, uh, it is a somatic. There is something for me to learn. There's something for me to heal through. And the way I approach this is not like, I'm not like, why is this happening? Also because it's very weird to have one arm bigger than the other. All of a sudden, it's swollen now. But I'm like, I get curious and I hold it and I just don't want to lose my mic. I just often stroke it and I just show as much love as I possibly can to this part of my body to say, hey, I'm here and I'm listening. I'm here and I'm listening. And trying to be open to what my body is trying to tell me. And that's my invitation for everyone who is experiencing something that's been dismissed or like clinically clean, medically clean, but you can tell it's not okay. There's something. Um, get curious, get support, and look at the emotional level and thank your body for giving you a sign, for manifesting a symptom to catch your attention so you don't ignore it because it's for your highest good, because it's for your own health, it's for your own aliveness and vibrancy and expansion and feeling good in your own body. You guys, that's all for me for today. Let me know in the comments if it landed. Give it a like, subscribe, come along for the journey. If you're new here, I'm Marina. I make new videos every day to remind you that the life you desire, the life you want, the life you know you're here to build is just one leap of courage away. I will see you tomorrow.